Let's do it.
Okay, guys, we're live. Got to get a sip of water. So we're at the end of watching the end of the last match of the Iowa State wrestling duel. Who Iowa clinched the dual meet with the last wrestler, but their current wrestler is Hill.
Bradley Hill.
He's trailing 9-4 in the third period. Just started the third period, it looks like.
Not to be confused with our other heavyweight, Deacon Hill.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to unplug this and see if it sounds.
I can't hear you, Dean.
Yeah, he took the headset off.
And now he's muted, too.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why he did that.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good, guys. Say something so I can...
We can hear you, Dean.
Yeah,
okay.
Go Hawks.
All right. I want to hear you guys. I couldn't hear you guys in the headsets.
Okay.
All right. So Iowa opens up the duel with a win with...
Drake Ayula, which that's kind of a minor upset right there. But at the weight class 125, you do have the returning national runner-up, Matt Ramos. I mean, he's got 2 losses already. Mm-hmm. So who knows who's going to win that weight class. But hopefully that'll give Drake some confidence in going forward. All these non-conference matches, I mean, they're going to have an effect when it comes to the national seedings for all these national qualifiers. So that's why it's very important to win these matches.
Yeah, I understand that. And then Brody Teske, I didn't see that loss coming. Talk about that one. He was pretty high ranked compared to the guy he wrestled, who he should have handled easily.
Yeah, Evan Frost here, freshman, 3-0. According to the Intermat rankings, is ranked number 19. And then Brody Teske, he kind of be All-American, get on the podium. And he's also a senior. So, I mean, the story, Iowa State came prepared. I mean, and it looked like Iowa just came to survive. And that's what they kind of did, just looking at their performance. Even Tom Brands, he's just commenting that, hey, we got to finish these shots. I mean, we're not attacking as much. They're attacking us more.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a great match.
Iowa State's about to get a tech fall on us. They're pretty close to it.
It's not going to matter.
Is it 50? I know it's 15 points for a technical
it's
fall.
Right? For a tech fall, which did meet, I believe, 8-15 with Iowa on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was 18-10 going in. 13, I mean. So even a pin wasn't going to get the job done. So
yeah, pin won't help. Yeah, they can have it. It'd be nice to claim that victory, but it doesn't look like unless a miracle happens, we stick him on his back. Yeah, Iowa's not going to win this match.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, they flashed a graphic up on the screen that I think Iowa State had won 18 straight duels or something in at home. So
yeah, so here's a couple fun facts. One, Tom Brands has never lost to Iowa State since he's been the head coach at Iowa. 2, the last time Iowa State beat Iowa in wrestling is December 5th, 2004. This is back when Bobby Douglas was the head coach at Iowa State. Kate Sanderson was there at the time too, and Jim Zaleski, the head coach at Iowa. So 1 year still going. And if you want to talk about dominating in-state rivalry like that, remember back in the Hayden Fry days, Iowa State did not beat Iowa in football all those years, almost over a decade.
15 straight years, I believe.
I mean, that's just how dominant Iowa's been over Iowa State. And this is actually Iowa State's better teams since the past.
Yeah, I thought there was a point when I was listening to the Dan Gable, Jim Gibbons interview at halftime there. I thought they were talking about a time where Iowa State refused to wrestle Iowa because we weren't good enough. Does that – I mean, and I guess that's going to be the pre-Dan Gable days.
or maybe when he was at Iowa State. Were we wrestling Iowa then?
Iowa
State wrestling Iowa then?
I mean, I can just growing up. I mean, I child of the '90s, if anything. But I remember watching like the Tom and Terry, the Brands brothers competing. You got Lincoln McElravy, Jeff McGinnis, Doug Schwab, Wes Hand, Lee Fullhart. I mean, all those guys. I mean, watching them growing up.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting that we are actually leading off with the wrestling. I mean, it is a big deal. It's Iowa State. We just jumped right into wrestling, which is great because I mean I'm a wrestling guy. I can tell Jared you love it more than I do, baby. So it's great.
That's on ESPN, and we're still trying to grow the sport and make it possible.
Yeah.
Was this the first dual match on ESPN ever?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And they chose the Iowa State match.
And I believe Hilton Coliseum was actually sold out too.
Yeah. So let's talk about something real quick. Paul, I saw that you were talking with Brian earlier, and there was you guys were talking about like maybe the 3-point takedown rule is invited some stalling now. Is that what you guys were talking about?
We were chatting
about a lot of
that.
stalling going on in this match today between the two, this duel.
Well, I'm not going to speak for Jared here, but as true, passionate wrestling people go, we always see stalling, right? I mean, this is one of those things. You always want to see guys moving forward, always want to see guys improving position. And when you don't, it's stalling.
Yeah, I mean, always attack style. I mean, that's always been the Dan Gable philosophy, and that's what really grew the wrestling program at the University of Iowa too. Just constantly get in your face. The more time you're in on your opponent, attacking their legs, the less they're attacking you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you put those guys on the defensive. You can catch them. And it's wrestling to the edge of the mat. It's wrestling to the last second. It's getting those short time scores.
Like which match was it where the somebody had a big lead on him and he almost lost it, and then the referees had to go to the monitor to see who actually won that match.
Well, it was Patrick Kennedy. They went to the monitor because there was writing time involved, and which I don't know, where do I have the score? But yeah, I mean, he jumped out, I believe, to a 12-4 lead before MJ Gadden actually got a takedown and then started closing the gap. So
right.
I mean, we were thinking a tech fall, all of a sudden survival.
Right, survival mode.
Just wrestling not to lose, and he looked like he just got gassed.
Yeah, it looked like if the Iowa State guy had just one more quarter of a second, Kennedy would have lost that match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps.
I mean, that was that close. Golly. And it's like, wow.
I mean, those first two periods, he looked really, really good. Like he was on the attack and just he's piling up the points. But oh man, that's why I got to work on that conditioning and that stamina.
Yeah, he had that. Was it the right knee pretty well heavily bandaged? Did you guys notice that?
There was actually a couple of that had the knee pads and protective wear on their knees. Yeah, he might have been.
Okay, yeah. So Iowa win. What was the final score now? The Iowa wins the duel 15 10
18
3 15 to
15
18 to 5 15 18 to 15 or something like that.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, 18-15, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Kelvin says Gable's guys went forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gable's guys, I mean, yeah, they always put the pressure on. I mean, that's just the way that he coached his wrestler.
Yeah. I just miss the days of aggressive wrestling, attacking style wrestling, like Spencer Lee. Spencer Lee, you just knew that there was going to be some excitement when Spencer Lee went out there.
Oh, especially when he gets on top and he's got those really neat armbar series where he's getting those tilts and just so much pressure on you.
Yeah.
Seeing Brett Metcalf, in the corner there at Iowa State, I just every time I see it, I feel like I'm getting kicked in the ads just a little bit. It hurts a little.
Well, Dresser, the head coach at Iowa State. He was also wrestled at Iowa. He did come out saying, "Yeah, we were trying to recruit the Brands brothers." And then, I mean, just take notice, you're in for a circus. I believe that's what he said. Yeah, let the circus begin.
Yeah. Within the Iowa State wrestler, the last name is Chitman. I thought on Chipman or something like that. Yeah. I thought I couldn't tell because of all the noise going around my house, but I thought the announcers were talking about that he was a gray shirt at Iowa last year and then transferred to Iowa State this year. And I don't know how true that is. I don't know if I heard right or if I missed some things.
I would probably have to look that one up. And let me just a quick shout out to the Pin Doctor, which I was able to reach out to him, ask him about this dual meet. He came back to me. He actually did make some predictions that he did predict Drake Iadula was going to win the match. He did predict that I believe Evan Frost was going to upset Brody Teske. I mean, wow, his predictions were pretty close, but he did predict Iowa State to win it. And I don't think anyone predicted that Gabe Arnold would bump up to 84. From 174 to 184, 10-pound difference. He looked undersized, but man.
That guy is so strong.
Yeah.
He just basically wore his opponent out.
I mean, just really good position, head position, just really fighting in there. I mean, you just couldn't get an angle on him. I know, let's see, who was that guy he wrestled? Will Feldkamp, ranked number 6 at 184. I mean, he was trying to get double unders, underhooks, trying to get something on him, use his length, his own height to get leverage. But you just couldn't get, I mean, Arnold good position full time.
Just super strong core.
Yeah.
All right. Where does Iowa wrestling go from here now? I mean,
let's see. On Friday, December 1st, they wrestle Penn. I believe that, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And then we'll just go through the month of December. On the 8th, they wrestle at home at Carver against Columbia. And then you got the Soldier Salute at Extreme Arena in Coralville. That's a couple of days. And then going to the month of January, they're going to start with the Big Ten opponent at Nebraska. Now, Nebraska, according to Intermat, they're ranked above Iowa.
Okay.
Right now with the rankings, I'm just mentioning probably Penn State number 1, Cornell number 2, Missouri number 3, Nebraska's number 4, North Carolina at 5, Ohio State number 6. Then you got Iowa State, Tech, and Michigan at number 10.
Are those the most respected rankings, the Internet, what you're talking about?
I think they're the most accurate at the time because they do have Iowa at number 8. In Iowa, if you ask me, they do not look like a top 5 team. Where the coaches poll, they have Iowa.
I thought I muted that. I'm sorry. Now I muted it. Okay. All right, Jared, we're going to move on to the football. If you want to stick around for it, or do you want to get out and do your thing?
I'll stick around a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick question for you, Jared. In your opinion, should the arena sports, football or wrestling, men's and women's basketball, should the Iowa State, should this be held in a neutral location every year? Do you think, or instead of, that way, and do sort of like a Florida, Georgia, where it's literally half and half.
Iowa State. Oh yeah, I mean, why not go to the Unidome and UNI?
Right.
I mean, that could be a problem solved for Iowa. I'm not sure about these other states like Florida, Alabama.
I don't know. I do not have a problem with the home and home series that we do. It's just though that it just seems like football, basketball, and wrestling all are in the same location every year. You know what I mean? Like we're all at Iowa State this year for all of that stuff, and next year we'll all be at Iowa.
I'd just like to see some of that played neutrally. I think it would be great for the state where you have this major event, if you made it a weekend, where you have the wrestling, men's and women's basketball, Iowa State, one arena kind of thing, I think it'd be cool.
Right. Well, what would be cool is, you know how the men and women have double headers this year at Wells Fargo Arena, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if we did an Iowa State doubleheader, both men and women at Wells Fargo? That sucker would be sold out both games. Don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe throw down wrestling 100%. As the opener.
Caitlin Clark sells out.
Iowa State wrestling open. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine the atmosphere that would be? Oh my God, that would be ruckus.
That's the point I was getting at. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I like your idea, Paul. Rotate it between you and I in Des Moines every other year or something, and give the Northeast Iowa fans and the Central Iowa fans something to go for. Okay. Let's move on to a little bit about the football. As we all know, we beat Nebraska on a walk-off field goal by a backup kicker.
Probably should have never came to that, but it did, and it happened.
It should have never come to that. And and as you and I and Terry and Brian and Jason all talked about, I was very nervous and thought I was just hoping we could get to overtime, without them getting close enough to score a field goal. And here we intercept the ball to get the ball back. To get the ball
after
back,
they
we actually have a chance
us.
at a field goal for the victory.
Yeah.
And that was a nice run too. After that interception, that got him a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. That was. No, I was kind of hoping he'd just take it all the way and just score the touchdown and end all out and run the clock out while he was doing it. But yeah, that was sweet. That was sweet. It was really sweet to see that. The range of emotions as Hawkeye fans as we go through a game like that. We go from edge of our seats, complaining and getting mad, and all of a sudden going, yeah.
I really want to make this point because it's really important to me that the football win was a program win. It was you people bang on the Big Ten West and say that it's not good, and maybe it's not, but you look across the board outside of Iowa, all the every game was pretty much a toss-up game, and the results bear that out. A lot of 6-6 records, a lot of 5-7 records, that kind of thing. Iowa was the only team that really navigated that situation. And
so, I was also going to add that we beat a 7-5 Iowa State team and a 7-5 Wisconsin.
Yes, they're 7-5 now also.
And I don't know what Utah State ended up being, but I think they were bowl eligible. But this was a culture win as far as I'm concerned, because you look at the teams that are continually changing coaches, Nebraska, the new coaching staff at Wisconsin, Northwestern, having to change their coaching staff. Bielema at Illinois is still pretty new, right? I mean, the
7-5 Northwestern guys, I forgot.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm tossing up between Kirk Ferentz and that coach for Coach of the Year. They both had a lot of crap to deal with, and they both pulled their teams out of the fire.
I don't know, the injuries, man. That really seems to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah. Paul, are you still there with us? He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
He's frozen. Paul should be back with us in a minute, I guess. For some reason, he's frozen.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm just thinking that I want to know. I mean, we'll probably talk about this later this week, but do we have any chance against Michigan? Is it slim to none, or do we have a percentage where we might be able to pull this out if things go right.
Yeah. But if you remember the 2016 team where I believe Iowa was 5-4, Michigan 9-0 coming to Iowa City, and we were able to pull the upset win. Obviously, it's a different team back then, but I mean, anything can happen. I mean, I'm always going to be a hopeless optimist.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, anything can happen. I don't think the 2016 team was even as good as this team this is this year.
Maybe. I mean, they had CJ Beathard, and they did lose to North Dakota State. Like,
Yeah, there he is. Paul's back with us now.
All right.
My internet's been acting weird all afternoon,
Yeah.
so I apologize.
You were frozen, so yeah.
We were discussing about the 2016 win over Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, does this team have a chance of beating Michigan?
Yeah. What do you think, Paul?
No. No, I mean, no. I want them to.
I will say
we were
this.
discussing that. If you remember 2016, we did have CJ Beathard. I mean, we had a good quarterback.
Yeah, but didn't we have like a 7-5 record or 8-4 or something like that?
Yeah, I think if we had McNamara, Eric Hall, Luke Lachey, Cooper DeJean,
we'd be 12-0, baby. No, at least 11-1.
We might have a shot at winning, but with the cast of guys that we the army we have to go to battle with is not.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was just gonna. Oh man, I had a thought on my head and I can't get it out now. I'm just like, get it out. It was good. It was good stuff, man. Good stuff.
The thing about Michigan is they're like the more talented version of Iowa, right? They're what we could look like if we had Michigan talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that there is going to be a new coaching change. Indiana got rid of their coach. I did not see that coming. I thought they loved him whether he won or not, but I guess apparently the powers that be decided no.
They're going to pay him $15.5 million to go away. So
are they? Wow. They really don't want him around anymore, do they?
It seems not.
I mean, as long as you got Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State on that side, look at Maryland and Rutgers, man. They're struggling to get past those three teams.
Right.
And they're not bad teams when you get right down to it.
No, they're not.
So I don't know. It's just funny that way. And then, we got the Mark Stoops to A&M rumor, which actually turned out not to be true. But I think he actually went to A&M, accepted the offer, then turned around and thought better and stayed at Kentucky, is what I heard.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, it's funny what expectations can do, right? I mean, at Kentucky, if he wins 8, 9 games, 10 games, that's a great year.
Considering the conference he's in, yes, it is.
Right. By the way, at A&M, it's the same conference.
Oh, got it. Got it.
But the expectations are just a little higher there, right? 8 wins will get you fired.
Mm-hmm. How many wins did they have this year?
Probably, I think they got bowl eligible, but
okay, all right, okay,
wow.
That's fine. I'm just trying to make conversation until I remember what I had to say, but I can't remember it. So,
and by the way, they fired a coach who has a national championship, not at A&M, but they fired a national championship coach.
Why?
A&M.
A&M, but why? Didn't win anymore?
Maybe unrealistic expectations.
I guess. That'd be kind of like firing Ferentz the season after he went 12-0, and then the next year didn't quite make it, so they just whatever. I don't know what I'm saying right now. The A&M boosters nixed the Stoops hire. They wanted better. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. You know, and Stoops is like 60 years old either, too. You don't want to hire a guy who's probably not going to coach more than 5 more years, do you? Don't you want a guy like Ferentz who's going to be there for 25 or more years?
I don't. There's
Is that
something to
even
be said.
possible anymore?
Yeah, I mean the up and comer. Where has that really worked? Because you have to have the patience for that too, right?
Mhm.
And you know, getting the hot young up and comer. If it doesn't work, you know, you have to be at a place like Kansas, right, where you can take him and be patient. You know, Iowa, you know, we were patient with Kirk, but you look around. Minnesota's been patient with PJ Fleck, but it hasn't really
materialized or anything.
You think
Right.
you think there's a chance that he could be let go at now? They were
PJ
not
Fleck.
bowl eligible, right? Or are they? Can't remember.
I think Minnesota went 5-7. I think they had to beat Wisconsin to be bowl eligible.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think so.
So, or is it because this is probably the first year under Fleck they haven't been bowl eligible? He gets a pass this year.
Maybe. I mean, as
This would be interesting talk during the in between the bowl weeks and stuff. You know, just talk about other college football overall in general. Would be fun to talk about coaching changes and what the expectations are and what our expectations for next year would be with the new Big Ten.
my cousin texted me this morning.
Okay.
He does like to dabble in the sports gambling, and he asked my opinion on the plus minus, the over under for the Iowa Michigan game. You know, what did I think? And you know, I do think if things go well, Iowa can cover the spread. You know, I would take Iowa in the points. I would take the under. If both of those hit, Iowa has a chance. And I told him that. I mean, my initial thoughts are, if we can get this to a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, I was thinking like 17-10-ish. That maybe Blake Corum pops one in the fourth quarter and it's 24-10. And, you know, I think that's maybe like a best case scenario for Iowa. We get it 17-10 in the fourth quarter. The defense is playing lights out. The offense is doing enough just to, you know.
Have we seen the over under yet on this game? I know it's a 21 point.
35 and a half, I think, is what he showed me.
So basically, they're saying that they're gonna score about 35 to our 10 points, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that is a realistic best case scenario for Iowa. Is try to do what we do, get it to the fourth quarter. But
yeah, last time we got Michigan to the fourth quarter, it didn't work out too well. Michigan exploded.
Didn't we walk away from the first half like a 10-0, 10-3?
Yeah, we were in that game up until about most of the way to the third period, weren't we?
Well, you know, you go back to that first quarter. We ran that trick play and we didn't hit on it, and then we missed the field goal. And then on the next possession, Michigan hits their trick play for a big touchdown.
Was it a flea flicker?
I think it was a double pass.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. Or it was like a running back pass.
Kirk Ferentz and Harbaugh had their Big Ten title matchup meeting today. I haven't read the article yet by Lysico on it, but anyway, he said that Dante Vines and Brown should be good to go on Saturday.
That's big for us.
That's huge.
We need
huge. Brown's not hurt as bad
deck.
as we hope. We were glad that he's not hurt that bad.
Yeah.
I hate this 7:00 night game though. Big Ten. I hate this. Get this game at big noon. No. Okay, yeah. I'll read this article later, and we'll talk about it later this week.
Does Iowa have a chance to have kind of a somewhat of a home field advantage because we had the week advance to buy tickets?
You hope
Right.
that Iowa fans
will come. Just show up in droves.
No, but they can only buy so many. They got to leave Michigan.
Well, I mean, Michigan's going to have their allotment, and Iowa will have theirs, of course.
But look at this is the third year in a row Michigan's going to the title game, right? You think the Michigan fans are getting bored? They don't
right. So their fans probably
another season
gets early. Yeah. We can hope that coming off the emotional win for them over Ohio State, they're peeking ahead to the playoffs. Maybe Iowa's offense is what it is. Maybe we can catch them a little flat coming out of the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping. They come out with a little, Iowa's no good, disrespect. Look, they won the West. That West stinks and blah, blah, blah. Just come out and just kind of forget who we are.
I think they'll have some respect for our defense, but
have to imagine.
Yeah.
Good point, Kevin or Kelvin. Sorry.
Kelvin, yeah. Thank you, Kelvin, for commenting. Nobody else is commenting. You're helping us out here. Ohio State fans will make sure Iowa fans get their tickets. Yeah.
Well, we are going at an irregular time for us.
We are. I kind of wanted to hit it between the wrestling match and the women's game. I didn't want to go tonight during the women's game. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to actually be able to watch the game. I paid for it, and then I heard it was free on YouTube, so I tried getting it on YouTube last night, the women's game, and they did have a link for it on YouTube, but when you click it on, an old LSU game from 2021 popped up. I kept going in and out trying to play with it, and it clearly says live link for Iowa Florida Gulf Coast game, but it shows the picture of LSU, and it's just like somebody screwed up.
Yeah. Can we talk about the men for a moment? Because my question is Oklahoma that much better than Seton Hall? What changed from Thursday to Friday? Because it looked like two different basketball teams, didn't it?
It did. And I think a lot of it had to do with Oklahoma and the way they got out to a huge lead first. And basically we were trying to pick it apart and trying to come back.
We just couldn't
we only lost by 12 or 13 points to Oklahoma, but they had 4 transfers from the portal on that team that started this year, and only the coach's son was a returning starter.
Yeah.
It's so.
Say, I'm going to let you guys go, okay? It's a great conversation with you guys. All right.
Thank you, Jared, for your participation.
Yep. Hey, go Hawks. Great weekend.
Yeah, it was. Okay, he's out. Okay. So, Paul, I think Oklahoma is going to be better than most people think they were. They were picked 12th in their league this year.
Right.
But like you said, the team we saw against Oklahoma and the team we saw against Seton Hall, which I thought Seton Hall was a little bit of a better team, in my opinion.
Dang it.
And it's like two different men's teams. It's like, what happened? What happened that night?
Yeah. I mean, even when Iowa was getting good open looks, they couldn't make baskets, and sometimes that happens. But
it
was nice to see them bounce back the next day and say, hey, we're better than the team that we showed yesterday.
Right. Well, I like their bounce back. Like I said in the little article I wrote right after the Oklahoma game, that That would have been nice to win it, but we're going to see an up and down season from this team. They're going to be a roller coaster ride, but I do think I went ahead and looked at the next 6 or 7 games, and I think there's one loss on there for sure, and I think maybe a second loss because I don't know how good Iowa State is, but for sure I think we lose to Purdue.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I like, there's kind of two concepts of thought. One being that, if you don't have a superstar, a super good player, then it can be anybody's night.
Right.
It can be, but at the same time, when you have that guy, when buckets aren't necessarily falling or whatever, at least you can turn to that guy and say, hey, go get us a bucket, go be a run stopper,
Right.
that kind of, and Iowa's, and because of that, I think we're going to see that inconsistency, and that superstar can open things up for other guys. But I'm super impressed with Cricky. I'm super impressed with, the young guys on the roster. I think we need to see more consistency from, I missed what's his name? The point guard.
Oh, now you've done it. Now you made my mind go blank. I could have told you that before we started. Yeah.
I can see him.
Is it DeSante Bowen you're talking about, or the other one?
Oh, no, not Bowen. The other one. The senior.
Yeah. Anyway, we all know who you're talking about, Paul. And so, yeah, more consistency from him. I like what's his name, Harden, that freshman point guard.
Oh yeah, Brock Harding. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah. I like watching him dish it out and everything, but Perkins is who you're talking about, Tony Perkins.
Tony Perkins, yes.
Yeah. But I like him the way he dishes out, but I'm disappointed that he's not scoring. You know. And that kind of bothers me a little bit, but when he's out there, he is able to dish around a little bit and get the ball to people, especially his old teammate.
Same with Patrick McCaffrey. There's a guy where I think Iowa really needs him to be a leader on this team.
I know it, and it's just like I've expected more from him this year. I expected him to be our 20-point leader. And now Cricky, because of that one game, he dropped from 20 points a game down to 18 now.
Yeah, well, he came back up, I think. But
did he come back up after last night?
Yeah,
he's been our most consistent scorer and rebounder, I think, on the team this year. Everybody else has been inconsistent, including Peyton Stanford.
Yeah,
Sanford, however you call his last name, but I expected more from him this year too. I expected. Freeze raining from that guy all year. I expected him to get his act together, be the junior that he is, and just show what he can do. Yeah. And so, to me, that his play has been somewhat disappointing in me. His brother's not shown anything, hasn't shown me anything, and he's supposed to be better of the two brothers. But I mean, he is a freshman. But that number 13, I can't say his name. But he looks like he could be a pretty good down the line too. I mean, they use him quite frequently. They're not scared to use him like they were scared to use what was the guy's name last year that we never used off the bench much? Only when our guys got in foul trouble.
Oh yeah.
Ogundele.
Okay.
Ogundele, yeah. So at least we're using this number 13 where we never use Ogundele unless we had to.
Gotcha.
When we were forced to. And then what's his name? McColdy. It looks like he's going to take a redshirt year, which is why we haven't seen him come off the bench yet.
So I know Coach Hack isn't here, but we're all missing him right now. I know people are going to want to get to the women's game. The regular season's over. Where do we stand on picks? Do we have that?
Yeah, I have that ready to go. Would you like to talk about the picks?
Yeah, let's talk picks and maybe wrap this thing up.
Yeah, okay. Well, The coach rebounded with a 9-1 record this week. So he's now at 77-29. You're hanging in there. You had 8-2.
All right.
You're 75-31. I had an awful week. I had 6-4, and I'm 76-30.
I feel like you were just trying to be a little aggressive, trying to, stay in the fight. So
I honestly thought Minnesota would beat Wisconsin. I was wrong. We all thought Kansas State would beat Iowa State. We were all wrong on that one. And by the way, that's the only one Coach lost.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and UCLA. I mean, what Coach got Cal right over UCLA. I mean, I didn't see that one coming.
Right.
I thought when he picked that one, I thought you lost this one.
Right. So, well,
let's just real quickly before we get everybody out to the game and everything. Let's just talk about last night and the women, the way they responded last night, and 61% shooting from the 3-point line.
wow.
Gabby hits 4 or 5. Taylor McCabe hit 6 of 7 on the thing. I believe somebody was 3 for 3. And I think one more person was 3 for 4 or something like that. And
I didn't even know the women were on last. Well, I guess they weren't on.
yeah, they're on that. They were on that Flow channel. I did watch them, but I had to watch them on my cell phone, so it's really hard to watch it on a cell phone.
So who did they play and did they win? Who did they play? Did they win?
They played Florida Gulf Coast University, and they won like 100-60.
Oof. Okay.
It wasn't close. Matter of fact.
And so are they playing in like a championship game tonight then?
Against Kansas State, the only team to beat Iowa this year.
So they're getting a rematch against Kansas State.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't even say her name, but Offer or whatever her name is, she hit a bunch of threes too. I think she might be the one with the 3 for 3.
Okay.
Shooting last night. But yeah, I mean, it was just amazing. And Hannah's hurt. We don't know how bad because they're not saying. I do know it's an ankle injury. But the other two centers, they more than made up for it between the two of them. Like I said, it's going to have to be by committee to replace Lozano. It's not going to be one person. They're just going to have to go back and forth, and whoever gets the hot hand, stick with them, or whoever stays out of foul trouble, stick with them and stuff like that. And
it's fun seeing Caitlin Clark in all these commercials, though. I've seen her in a couple.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, not a very good actor, but she's, it's like
she doesn't have to be.
She doesn't have to be. Yeah, those State Farm commercials are hilarious that she's doing.
Just great job by her. So
yeah, she's doing good, and she's in those commercials with some big name stars in some of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet you would love to do a State Farm commercial with Mahomes.
Right.
He does State Farm commercials, I think.
Oh yeah, tons of them. Yep. And Kelsey.
I've seen him in State Farm commercials. Yeah. Anyway, let's let the people go. They can watch us on replay, and I can get with the family for another hour or so before the game comes on. And I can hear some farkling going on in my next room. They're playing the game of Parker. We've been playing a lot of games since we got to Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Okay. All right, Paul, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming on, and I think we got everything accomplished that we thought we could get accomplished today.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, people. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Bye.
Go Hawks, everybody.
Go Hawks.